Hi guys, this is the Forgetful Skull. Let's chat about books. So again, just one book this week. So this week is Small Talk, FM Historical, and it is Devil in Spring, the Ravenel book 3 by Lisa Kleypas. Then, there we go, step back. This makes me think like really, I know it's a spring, but I don't know, something about this color scheme, like her dress. I know they're cherry blossoms, or supposed to be cherry blossoms behind her. I don't know, it feels more wintry to me. Maybe because like the cover and everything is very like fading like ombre blue. I don't know. And I know it's the Ravenel book 3. I understand that. I wanted to read the Ravenel series in order, but my used bookstore never has 1 and 2. Every time I checked, it hasn't had it. I'm still going to try to get it. But then I remember Lisa Kleypas is really good about like, you can jump into a series, book 3, book 4, whatever, and you don't feel lost. You could still really enjoy it, and it's fine because it's been sitting on my TBR shelf for a while. So I was like, you know what? I want to read it. I've been wanting to read it for a while. I'm actually getting really annoyed I can't find book 1 and 2 in my used bookstore. I mean, I guess I could just bite the bullet and get it like on Amazon and stuff like that, but I don't know. I think it's like the thrill of the hunt when you find this book you're looking for it. It's like a really good deal. Anyway, so yeah, so this is book 3. I didn't feel lost. I enjoyed myself. I would say it's a 3-star. It has to do with Pandora. I love that name. And Gabriel. And I really loved that we get to see Evie because Gabriel is Evie's son. I love that. That is probably my favorite part of this book because Evie was my favorite wallflower. So to see like how big her family's grown and to see her kids and things like that, like I really, really enjoyed myself. Now this book. Okay, so the good points. At the epilogue, it was actually like an epilogue. It was like a story. It was just like another chapter. It was a continuation, like a little bonus. Because sometimes Lisa Kleypas does the epilogue where it kind of feels like a checklist. Like you just get told what's happening. So this one wasn't like that, so I liked. I really did like Pandora's personality. I think it was a good representation of attention deficit disorder, especially like in the 1900s. Let's see, when was this? I don't think it really gives you like a year where this is. Oh no, it does. 1876. Okay, late 1800s. I like that. I liked Gabriel's family, the siblings. It felt very organic, the conversations between them. I loved seeing Sebastian and Evie again, and I like that they didn't take over the story because sometimes like with Lisa Kleypas that happens. And I get it. You have your favorites. Of course a writer's going to have their favorites. You know what I mean? I liked Pandora. I liked her family. I thought it was interesting. Like she had a shitty father that stayed a shitty father and a brother that was shit and stayed shit. Because sometimes in these romance novels, like, well, that's more Johanna Lindsay, like there's always a reason why they're shitty and, you know. So I like that was like, no, they were assholes. Here we go. I'm like, okay, cool. A little bit of a spoiler because of something that I'm not going to go into when she was a kid because it's an interesting mystery to unravel in the story. She has very bad hearing in her left ear, I think it was. It was very like, oh, you know, sympathetic, and I hate that it happened to her, but I thought it was interesting that we had a female lead who had a disability. And it wasn't her whole personality, which was great, but I will say, another spoiler, it does get fixed. It does get fixed, which, I mean, you know, like, okay, you wanted to get your hearing back and you did. Okay, good. But at the same time, it's like, there are wonderful people that don't have, you know, that are deaf and they are amazing, you know? So it wasn't, I don't know. I just like, since this is an imaginary character, they do not exist, I think it would be kind of awesome if she kept Pandora with hearing problems, you know, and I understand that it was about healing scars and all that stuff, but like, I don't know, it would have been kind of cool if she rose above it. And this was published in 2017, so it's not that long ago. Even though it feels like it's not that long ago. So I don't know, I thought that would have been really cool, you know? And with Lisa Kleypas, I have noticed, even when I love the story, like at the end, I'm super happy, I love it, it's a 5-star. There's always like the part in the middle of the book, I hate every fucking person in this story. It happens with all of her books. Like, which is fine. You know, sometimes I'm in the mood for that and sometimes I'm not in the mood for that. But like, I really liked Pandora's character. I kind of liked Gabriel's character. I like that we got to see more of him. He opened up a little bit more, but still. But in the middle of it, like, I couldn't stand Pandora. Like, I couldn't stand her. You know what I mean? And during this rage fit in the middle of this book, her nanny, her maid, sorry, kind of goes in like at her for being privileged, and I wanted more of that. See, Pandora doesn't want to marry because she wants to own a company herself, and like her points about marriage were really articulate, were really fantastic. It got Gabriel to think like, hey, the status quo sucks, and as a guy with two sisters, maybe you should think about that. So like, that was really great. And I was with her on that. But the thing was, she didn't, up until that point, even a little past that, she didn't like use her position, because she is an earl's daughter. She didn't use her position of being an earl's daughter and having a really wonderful head of the family, her cousin, which obviously was an earlier book that I want to read, really supportive of her, to kind of do anything about it. You know what I mean? And I like that her maid kind of like, check your privilege. You know what I mean? You want to work, that's fine, but I have to work. And I was like, oh, I want more of that. I wanted that more. It was just like a paragraph. And I was like, no. Please, more. You know what I mean? Because maybe then she would have been like, oh, you know, I should do stuff. And instead of that epiphany happening, sort of at the end, like the third section of the book, the third act of the book, that's when she's like, well, I want to work with a female publisher for my board games. I want women working on this to help them, you know, and I thought that was great. And I was like, man, see, that I loved. That's when I started loving her again. I was like, that I loved. I wish that was in more of the book. And there's a mystery about it that seems really rammed in. I think it was really just to introduce the male character for one of the books. It seemed rushed, not rushed, but it seemed like, oh, the story was finished. She's like, oh shit, I have a word count. And they added that in. That's what kind of felt like, because there was no hints of any of this mystery going on in any other book, and like any other part of the book beforehand. And if this was like, there was clues on it, like, so she goes to female publishers for her board games, and she stumbles on something she shouldn't have seen, and people want to take her out because of that. Cool, I get it. Add spice. I was really into that part. You know, again, Lisa Kleypas does this to me. I'm like, oh, this is cute. First half, oh, this is cute. Middle half, I hate everybody involved. Third half, oh, I love this. This is so sweet. That's what she does to me. This is what Lisa Kleypas does to me in every friggin' book. Anyway, so moving on. Now, elaborating. If she went to the female publisher in like the middle of the book and then saw this, and then that's how Gabriel, you know, is with her all the time. Because like in the end of the first half, her and her family are invited to his family's estate for a week for them to get to know each other. And that's when Gabriel, like, you know, is enchanted with her and everything. That was really cute. I just think if her seeing what she wasn't supposed to see happened before that, and, you know, there was danger in her life before that week, you know, they have to decide whether they're going to get married or not. I thought, like, that would be an interesting dynamic to introduce. Like, not only is he trying to get to know her, but also the threat of something killing her, someone killing her, adds to the drama. And I think it could have been a more interesting story and it could have been a little more dramatic, because it didn't feel like, it was a little boring in the first and second half, because all it was like, they have to get married now. He doesn't want to. Oh, now he thinks she's adorable. He wants to get married. She doesn't want to get married because it's not fair to women what happens in marriage. Fair enough. But then she doesn't do anything about it. You know, so they get married. She sees something she's not supposed to see. Someone tries to kill her. He's all protective. I'm saying the third half of the book could have been introduced earlier, maybe in the end of the first half, and you would have had a more interesting, longer, them getting to know each other longer, flow to the story, because it felt very fast. And it felt almost like the third act was a completely different story, just with the same main characters. You know what I mean? Which is surprising for this writer. This writer usually does tempo very well. I mean, there's a few books, now that I think that there's a few books that were boring as shit. But anyway, you know, so it happens. You know, even if you absolutely love the writer. I love Joanna Lindsey. Some of her books can't fucking stand. So there we go. I just think, you know, in the week they're supposed to get together, her life is threatened. Not only is he finding her charming, but now all the protective instincts get engaged. That would have been interesting. Now, I think this writer does a great job when it comes to female characters, to make them unique, to make them different, to give them different personalities, because, you know, nobody's the same. I enjoy that. I will say it kind of is starting to feel like her male heroes, there's like a list of 7 characteristics that she just jumbles up a little bit and puts them in a different person. Like they're starting to feel a little stale, which I get it. A lot of readers of romance kind of just focus on, they just care about the female character, the hero, and, you know, they want to relate to her, they want to root for her, stuff like that. I get that. But there are some readers of romance that want to root for both the male and the female in the story, or both heroes, because I read, you know, same-sex couples romances all the time. So, you know, I want to root for both of them. You know what I mean? I want to care about both of them. So it's kind of disappointing when, like, I really like Pandora's unique little personality, but, like, Gabriel just felt like, oh, he got this trait from his dad. He got this trait from, you know, his dad's best friend, the Duke, you know, from the Wallflowers. You know, oh, yes, and then we jumble it up. Like, she just has a list. All right, I'm going to give him trait 1, trait 5, and trait 9. Boom. You know? So it just felt a little stale, which is disappointing. I didn't hate Gabriel. I thought, you know, I was like, oh yeah, okay. That's how I felt about him. He wasn't outstanding. I wasn't like, oh, poor Bean. Oh, I hope he has a happy story. Oh my goodness. Or I was like, oh, he's hilarious. Ah, look at that scoundrel. There was very neutral feelings about him, which I feel like in a romance is kind of the kiss of death. I mean, for me at least. So that was like, kind of like, So that Gabriel felt a little stale, even though I liked him and I loved seeing Evie and Sebastian, all their kids, and I liked him well enough. Pandora's personality was cute, but I will give it a 3 stars because the third act was so good. It was so good, the third act. I was like, man, just a little sooner, this book would have been like 5 stars, chef kiss. Oh my God, my favorite. You know what I mean? So that's why. Oh man, I'm trying to get out of the rut of reading. I'm trying to remember how much I love romances and why I started this channel, because, you know, no one around me reads romance and I want to talk about it. So here we go. So I'm going to try to, you know, get myself out of this rut. My usual tricks aren't working. So we'll see. All right, that's it for me. I think I finished the rant off. All right. I'm probably not going to read the Ravenel books in order, but that's okay. Because again, that's one really point in this writer's favor. You can read one of their stories out of order and you can still really enjoy yourself. You know, obviously there's clues of what happened in other books, but it doesn't overwhelm you. And, I mean, sometimes they misstep and they focus on too much of a past couple, but again, Writers are humans. You get your favorites. I get it. So there we go. I don't want to, but it's time for me to get back to the real world. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye.